Shane, right?
Yes.
That's a good name. It means bright and pleasant in my language.
What's your language?
Jewish. Are you Jewish?
No, I'm black.
Jewish is not a color. Jews come in every color and every shape.
Why do you have a number as a tattoo? Is it your birthday? Are you okay?
Yeah, sure.
You look sad.
When I was your age, I used to go with my mom and we'd walk everywhere. She had 2 coats for me. I didn't like that because it made me look heavier than I was.
What's your number?
I thought the message was really important. I really liked the concept. I did think the acting kind of wasn't that great. Like at times it kind of felt like they were reading off cue cards. And then when it cut to the flashback, that wasn't totally clear to me that that was his sister, because like I was kind of distracted by what I just said about the acting. Like it felt like something was didn't quite work, whether it was the directing or just the takes they chose to use. But I did really, because I'm black and Jewish, so got to see. Just like, yeah, it was, and I was getting worried for a while because it showed so much like constant, like, we get it, they're Nazis. And part of it, I just saw Jojo Rabbit, I think, but it did feel really satisfying when she took the gun and shot the Nazi officer in the face. That felt really good. I'm like, oh, this had a happy ending.
I really enjoyed the film. It was very simplistic. Yeah, the acting was kind of offbeat, but the message and the history for people that really don't know, it was very put in your face. And it was redemption of the sister killing, the Yah-isms at the end. But I think it was a really, really good film.
How I felt about the flashback was it was more of like somebody being told what happened in the room as opposed to experiencing what happened in the room, because it was like through his sister, which is how I felt like it, because I felt it was a little bit stilted too, a little bit off. But to me, I viewed it as like, oh, this is somebody like telling a story of what happened, as opposed to like somebody in the room recalling what happened.
Very heavy message, but kind of taken down a little bit by the acting and writing. To me, I thought the part that bothered me was I did feel a little like patronized. It was a Holocaust movie that's made for an audience that's never heard of the Holocaust. It was like, explain it to me like I'm 5, which I think is why they had the young actor, the young guy. But I think also one thing that, if you have to kind of give something to improve, why are they speaking English? Is that weird? I don't like it when they have people speak English with the accent of that country. I feel that it's a little bit, I don't know. I just don't like it. I felt that they
preferred subtitles.
I would have very much preferred subtitles.
I think I had a similar issue with how the movie started with like this young kid who had never heard of the Holocaust before and was like so shocked that someone might want to eliminate an entire like race basically. I could kind of see the other point that was made that even as a young kid, you already are experiencing like people's, various like oppressions and like microaggressions and things like that. And it was a little patronizing, maybe the way that it was explained to this child, as if he was like completely naive. But it went from that to like this kid who had no idea that people may not all people may want to eliminate an entire race, to like really going into like nitty gritty of like all of the atrocities that happened, and I didn't really think that was age appropriate. I like the story, and I think it's really important to tell the story of Holocaust survivors. I just don't know if telling it to a kid and starting from 0 and ending up where it did was like the appropriate storytelling mechanism.
Okay. I think it was really well done, and I like that. I think it was age appropriate because there's a lot of kids these days, and the different education system where they question whether or not the Holocaust ever occurred. So what's wrong with them learning at a young age? And I disagree with the earlier comment. I think it was fine using a young black boy, because even though they were oppressed, almost every single race has been oppressed. But it's more significant when they use a black young male to show, like, hey, I'm black. My friend, I have a Chinese Indian friend. It just to signify that someone is willing to eliminate you just because of your race. So I think that was a good portrayal of how anything can happen just because of the color of your skin or whatever religion you believe in. So
Okay.
I think it's a fine example.
I don't think the movie had a clear goal because, as they said, 1 second it seemed like a comedy, and the next second it seemed like a drama, the next second it seemed like a child's movie.
Mhm.
I mean, like a educational movie,
Mhm.
let's say. And I think it's not hard to find amazing stories from the Holocaust, so I could have pictured it right from the get-go with her trying to run away
Mhm.
and that, I guess, escape.
Mhm.
And that could have been entertaining enough for me.
I thought at the beginning it was great, and then the storyline, but then it got into the flashbacks
Mhm.
with, you know, the Nazi guys, and it was going well until they kept talking about nipples, and it kept going on and on. It's like, we get it. She has Jewish nipples. So I think if, you know, taming that part down a little bit and going more into the story, maybe more emotion, I think that would have made it work a little better.
The whole nipple thing is just really symbolism of how they would dehumanize people, okay? By making them objects and no longer people. And so that was a way of humiliating them and exerting their power over them, and they could never fight back.
So you liked the addition of the detail because
Yes.
you felt it was historically accurate.
Yeah, because you have to find a way to show them dehumanizing people, because that's what led to them being able to have extermination camps. If